Ronan Lee. He's a visiting scholar at the International State Crimes Initiative, which is part of the School of Law at Queen Mary University in London. Ronan Lee, thanks for being with us here on the News Hour. So let's just first off, if we can, pick up on those charges that have been levelled against Aung San Suu Kyi. I assume you agree with David that they're just trumped-up charges to try and keep her in detention.
Oh, entirely. The politically motivated charges to keep her in jail. They're designed, though, to signal, in fact, I think, to the protesters that the military doesn't intend to release Aung San Suu Kyi any day soon. The timing is interesting. It comes a day after the deadliest military violence since the coup. 18 dead, at least yesterday, across Myanmar. Live rounds fired at peaceful protesters by the military. And then one day later, 2 extra trumped-up charges levelled at Aung San Suu Kyi. One related to an earlier charge about her possession, supposedly her possession of illegally imported walkie-talkies, although I understand there's some suggestion they may well have been provided to her staff by the military. And a second charge that relates to sedition, to inciting rebellion, disturbing the peace, more or less because she has encouraged protesters to not respect the coup and to demand the military stand down and respect the elections that were held last November. The military are now accusing her of destabilising the country, and they've added a sedition charge.
And Ronan, looking on this from the outside, as we have been for the past month or so, I'm getting the increasing sense that this is all very strategic by the military. Rather than them sort of reacting on the fly, they seem to have, as you say, points where they're going to make very important decisions, very big statements, like bringing Aung San Suu Kyi back in front of the court. Do you think that they're just trying to extend this for as long as possible? And what can the international community do to try and get them to relinquish power?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think that the military is rolling out a playbook that we've seen in other parts of the world. We've seen it throughout parts of Asia. We've seen it in the former Soviet republics in recent times as well, where the military, with an unpopular coup that lacks local legitimacy, not supported by the population who have democratic aspirations, that the military simply digs in and tries to wear people out. They'll use intermittent violence interspersed with legal actions. I mean, there's been more arrests overnight. Let's not forget that the internet gets shut down every day in Myanmar. There's been internet shutdowns for over the last 4 weeks. I think we're on day 18 of consecutive internet shutdowns every night, and during that time more arrests are made. Hundreds of protest organisers and pro-democracy advocates have been arrested. This is a strategy that the military's used before, but the interesting thing this time is that this is the first time that Myanmar's military has faced a situation where they're in the internet era. When there was last a significant uprising, which was the 2007 Saffron Revolution, it was a monk-led anti-military movement. The internet wasn't readily available in Myanmar. There was no internet in Myanmar at that time. Things have changed dramatically since 2012. And that, I think, injects a degree of surprise for the military. They seem at times to be uncertain as to how the protesters will react. Bearing in mind, this is a military that's been used to protesters reacting in a way that they could expect. Now these protesters have been learning techniques from other protest movements across across East and Southeast Asia. They're surprising the military in many ways. They have a diversified leadership, which means that the arrests of leaders hasn't necessarily stopped the protests occurring. And that's challenging to the military. But no doubt the military will recalibrate its techniques and recalibrate their strategies. I mean, this is a military that has used immense violence against civilians many, many times. The Rohingya in 2017 are probably the most recent internationally recognised example of this. And the military's reaction at that time was to use mass murder as a tactic to force the Rohingya to leave Myanmar. The chances are that the military, if they feel they need to, could unleash the same level of violence against the peaceful protesters in the country today.
Concerning perhaps development coming then. Ronan Lee, appreciate your analysis. Thanks for being with us.